window closed, morning balancing on the frame. A silver spoon, a crooked note, kettle singing without a name. The street below was half awake, shoes in rhythm, light and steam. Somebody laughed across the block and pulled me gently from my dream. I was busy counting heavier things, deadlines, doubts, unopened mail. Then a sparrow shook the railing once, like a thumbtack in the tail of the day. And there it was, the joy I almost missed, hiding in the easy blur. In the seconds I would usually skip, a sunbeam on a coffee ring, a green leaf leaning to exist. Nothing grand, nothing loud, just the joy I almost missed. Joy I almost missed. My sweater caught on the kitchen chair. I smiled instead of calling it bad luck. A peach went rolling from the bag and stopped exactly by my foot. The radio said the forecast wrong, still the breeze was soft and kind. A child in yellow rain boots waved to no one, or maybe to my mind. I kept thinking life would tap my shoulder with a brass band, with a sign. But today it came in quieter clothes, threaded through the small design. It was the joy I almost missed, resting in the ordinary, in the places I don't photograph or list. Warm bread in a paper sleeve, a loose strand brushed by my wrist. Nothing staged, nothing rare, just the joy I almost missed. Whoa. That way, not dramatic, not announced. Maybe wonder doesn't always bloom, sometimes it simply gathers round. In the pause before I check the time, in the dishwater's little stars, and the neighbor humming 2 floors down, in the mercy of things as they are. So I'll keep one corner of my day unbuttoned, open, light, for the tender, almost invisible, that turns the dimness bright. And when the evening folds the sky in denim blue and apricot, I'll thank the hours for whispering, look again, you have a light. There it is, the joy I almost missed, not far away nor hard to hold, just waiting where my hurry quits, a tiny shine on daily things, too alive to coexist with the rush that calls them small. The joy I almost missed, the joy I almost missed. I don't need a sky that opens or a headline kind of day, just a patch of sun on hardwood and the blue cup by the sink to stay. Toast a little too uneven, sleep still wrinkled from the chair, but the room is breathing softly and for once I'm fully there. A little bit of happiness turns out to be enough, not a firework in my hands, just a quiet kind of love. A song half sung, a window breeze, a moment warm and close, and somehow in these smaller things my whole heart overflows. There was a time I kept on waiting for the big amazing scene, thinking joy would come in bright lights wrapped in golden magazine. But today it wore no makeup, came and slowly sat with me, in the smell of sliced up oranges and the kettle's easy steam. A little bit of happiness turns out to be enough, not a mountain I can claim, just a steady kind of trust. A softened thought, a slower breath, a laugh I didn't force, and somehow in these smaller things I find my way back home. Maybe plenty isn't louder. Maybe full can still be light. Maybe peace is just a handful held up gently to the light. Like a pocket full of seconds no one else would think to keep, but they hold me like a secret, simple, tender, true and deep. A little bit of happiness sitting lightly in my hands doesn't ask to last forever, doesn't need me to understand. It's the shadow of a plant moving softly on the wall. And for now, and maybe that's the gift, it is more than enough, that's all. So if tomorrow comes in pieces, if the edges don't all fit, I will still have the small sweetness and the grace of noticing it. Not everything has to dazzle, not everything has to shine. Sometimes one quiet drop of honey can sweeten all the noise inside. Oh, I lowered hope, but because this life is such a tender stack of little joys, too easy to pass by. Now I gather what the day gives and let that be my sky. With thunder, just a softer kind of blue, light along the edge of the curtain like the room already knew. Coffee breathing near the window, a chair turned slightly toward the sun. Nothing in the world looked different, still the day had somehow begun. A day I'll keep, not because it dazzled me, not because it changed the whole sky or gave me something wild to see, just because my heart was open, just because the air ran deep and something quiet felt worth carrying. A day I'll keep. We walked through streets I half remembered, past the florist and the train. Someone laughed behind a doorway and the sound stayed in my frame. A dog asleep beside the bakery, a child dragging a paper star. Your voice folding through the small talk, making every place less far. I used to think the lasting days would come with fireworks and names, but this one wore a plain blue sweater and still said something warm in place. A day I'll keep in the pocket of my mind, with the smell of bread and pavement and the gold of late daylight. Nothing polished, nothing perfect, still too tender not to save. Just a handful of ordinary moments that quietly became the way the window held the evening like a bowl of apricot, the way the silence felt companionable, not empty, not forgot, the way I didn't need to chase it, didn't need to make it grand. It simply rested in my open hands. And maybe that's what makes a day stay, not the noise, not the display, but the soft accumulation of little mercies on the way. A cup gone cold beside the notebook, a breeze moving through the hall, a look that said without saying, this mattered after all. A day I'll keep when the louder ones grow thin, when the weak turn sharp around me. I'll step back inside this one again, where the hours moved like kind hands and the dark came down so sweet. I remember how the world felt gentle on a day I'll keep. So let tomorrow ask for courage, let the next one ask for speed. I have this tucked beneath my ribs now like a small and shining seed. No monument, no grand conclusion, no perfect sentence at the end. Just a day that felt like quiet love, and that is why it stays with me. A day I'll keep. A day I'll keep. radio caught a sweeter station than the one I meant to keep. A neighbor watered tiny flowers in slippers on the stairs. A breeze slipped through the hallway and rearranged my hair. Small moments, big smile, that's how the day turns gold. Not with thunder, not with fireworks, just a hand I didn't know I'd hold, a loose thread, a bright thought, a reason that stayed a while. Funny how the lightest things can lift me by a mile. Small moments, big smile. Small moments, big smile. The bus came right as I was laughing at a text with one dumb joke. Someone's dog in a yellow sweater looked proud in the morning smoke. The bakery door kept chiming like it knew I'd had a week. And the woman wrapping sourdough said, "Take care, soft and sweet." I used to think joy had better timing, bigger rooms and louder shoes. Now it shows up with wet pavement and one good song I didn't choose. Small moments, big smile, it's how the heart gets fed. A stripe of sun across my jeans, a thought that quiets in my head. A missed call, a deep breath, the day turns kind and mild. Funny how the smallest things can leave me grinning like a child. Small moments, big smile. Maybe life is less a staircase, more a windowsill in June, where ordinary seconds gather and hum an easy tune. Like the peach that bruised a little, still tasted sweet as rain. Like the train doors waiting open when I thought I'd missed again. So I'm learning not to rush past what arrives without a sound. Tiny sparks in plain clothes, little treasures lying around. Small moments, big smile, no grand occasion needed here. Just a pocket full of almost nothing's turning sudden bright and clear. A kind look, warm socks, my name said with some style. Funny how a day can bloom from something barely worth a file. Small moments, big smile. Small moments, big smile. The laundry of the sky in blues and rose, I'll remember how the best parts weren't the ones I would have chose. They were smaller, softer, stranger, and somehow exactly right. Small moments, big smile, carrying me into night. No parade outside my window, no miracle in polished shoes, just the kettle starting softly and a sky in easy blue. The sink is full of ordinary, a plate, a glass, a silver spoon, and the clock is in no hurry, humming low against the room. A quiet, happy day came in without a sound. Didn't ask to be remembered, still I wanna write it down. Not because it dazzled, not because it changed my name, just because the air felt gentle on a quiet, happy day. I walked out with half a purpose, forgot the list I meant to bring, bought some fruit, then took the long way home beneath the laundry string. A woman laughed into her phone call, someone tuned a guitar nearby. The light on parked up bicycles made small halos on the chrome and wire. Used to think the good days had to shimmer, swell, and leave a mark. Now I trust the ones that meet me like warm eyes adjusting to the dark. A quiet, happy day, holding nothing I could sell. No dramatic revelation, just a body feeling well. And for once my thoughts sat down like birds along a fence, not gone, just less demanding in the comfort of the present tense. Maybe peace is not a headline, maybe joy can keep it plain. Maybe life is sweetest when it doesn't need explaining. In the fold of clean blue towels, in the crackle of an orange peel, in the pause before the streetlight, when the evening starts to kneel. A quiet, happy day, stayed close without a claim. No confetti, no announcement, still I'm grateful that it came. I don't need a story big enough for everyone. Some days being softly okay feels brighter than the sun. So when tomorrow asks for courage and the noise come crowding in, I'll remember this small stillness like a note beneath the skin. How the world kept turning kindly, how the hours moved like rain, how nothing much was different and yet everything felt changed. A quiet, happy day, simple as a cup and chair, simple as the curtain breathing, simple as enough being there. The toast came out a little darker than the picture on the box. I missed the bus by half a minute still. I made it round the block. The clouds were low, the wind was honest. No grand color in the sky, but the day sat steady on my shoulders like a hand that didn't pry. Just a simple good day, and that is more than fine. No ribbon on the hours, no reason I could underline. Just enough light on the table, just enough peace in my chest. Nothing loudly beautiful, still somehow one of my best. Found a coin beside the crosswalk, bought a pair with freckled skin, held the door for someone carrying boxes. He turned back with a tired grin. The laundry swayed like patient flags over someone else's yard, and a song I hadn't heard in years came back soft and unscarred. I used to measure every sunset by whether it could prove its worth. Now I know some days are good because they ask so little of the earth. Just a simple good day, no headline in the air, caught the evening light, a little kindness waiting there. My mind not racing for once, my heart not dressed to impress. Nothing loudly beautiful, still somehow one of my best. Maybe enough is not a compromise. Maybe plain can still run deep. Maybe the truest kind of fullness is the kind we almost never keep. Clean shirt warm from sunlight, the hum of tires in the rain, a message with no urgent edges, just my name said plain. So I'll stop demanding sparkle from every passing hour. Some days arrive in denim, not in satin or in flowers. And when the dark leans on the window, soft as breath against the pane, I'll call this day exactly what it was and feel no need to change the frame. Just a simple good day with nothing left to prove. A cup, a street, a quiet laugh, a little room to move. No miracle, no masterpiece, no triumph to confess. Nothing loudly beautiful, still somehow one of my best. I woke up wearing yesterday like a coat I hadn't meant to keep. The room was still, the light was thin, and my thoughts were talking in their sleep. The mirror didn't ask for much, the floor was cool beneath my feet. I burned one side of the morning toast, still sat down slow enough to eat. A soft smile today was more than I had planned. Not a victory song, not a turning tide, just a quiet open hand. A little lift around my eyes, a breath that chose to stay. if I could smile, even small, that was enough today. The bus stop bench was damp with rain. Someone drew a heart into the fog. A child in oversized boots tried to race a passing dog. The barista misspelled my name but gave me extra foam instead. And for a second all the noise felt less crowded in my head. I used to think a good day needed clear blue skies and perfect lines. Now I know it can begin with one gentle break in the mind. A soft smile today, barely there, but real, like sunlight caught on a spoon or warm through a window sill. Nothing solved, nothing erased, still something found its way. And if my face remembered light, that was enough today. Maybe healing doesn't enter with trumpets or a grand parade. Maybe it sits beside your coffee in the shape your shoulders made. Maybe joy is not a fire, maybe sometimes it's just thread holding one small moment together, so the whole day doesn't shred. So I won't ask this life for brilliance, not every hour has to sing. Some days kindness is just noticing one unbroken little thing. The curtain moved, the kettle clicked, a sparrow landed by the drain, and I smiled without announcing it, like a flower doesn't explain. A soft smile today, small as a paper star, but enough to turn the day around without asking what we are. No miracle, no masterpiece, no need to make it stay. If I smiled even once with ease, that was enough today. That was enough today.
Used to think it had to thunder to count as something in my life. Big decisions, grand departures, neon answers in the night. But these days I trust a quieter math, the kind you only feel with time. A chair pulled out, a check-in call, a steady hand in the climb. Little things that matter, never ask for praise. They live in almost hidden corners and build the shape of days. Not the headline, not the fireworks, not the moments people stage. Just little things that matter, turning slowly into grace. A clean shirt warm from afternoon, the sound of keys set in the bowl, the way you say my name half laughing, like you know the weather in my soul. A note stuck on the fridge in pencil, bread wrapped soft beside the sink. A text that says get home when you can. More love than most people think. I was chasing giant meanings, trying to prove I lived enough. But peace arrived in smaller pieces. Somehow that was more than stuff. Little things that matter never enter like a storm. They gather on the windowsill and keep a tired heart warm. A door held open, patient silence, someone waiting while I speak. Just little things that matter, making ordinary strong, not weak. Maybe the world is made that way, not in monuments alone, but in all the small repeats. up, you leave beside my notebook. The light left on when I'm running late. The way we learn each other slowly, without demanding something great. So when I look back years from now, I doubt I'll count the loudest nights. I'll remember how the room felt safe, how the hallway held soft light. Little things that matter work like roots beneath the floor, invisible until the hard winds come, then they become much more. Not glamorous, not dramatic, still they hold the heaviest weight. Just little things that matter, teaching me what makes a life stay great. So let the day be plain and honest, let the good come unannounced. I have learned the deepest kinds of love are the ones that gather ounce by ounce. A hand on my shoulder in the kitchen, one more plate dried and put away. Little things that matter, that's what carries us each day. The morning didn't rush me, it just leaned against the glass. Soft light on the table, letting everything simply pass. No need to fix the silence, no need to name the sky. The kettle clicked, the chair creaked, and somehow that was just right. A calm and easy feeling, sitting light inside my chest. Not a prize I had to earn, just a little room to rest. No drama in the doorway, no noise I had to fight. Just a calm and easy feeling, making ordinary bright. I took the longer sidewalk, watched shadows cross the street. A dog asleep in a doorway, dreaming with his twitching feet. Someone hummed behind me, low and out of tune, and even that felt welcome, like dust turning gold in a room. I used to think good living had to sparkle, prove, and climb. Now I like the days that loosen the knots I carry in my mind. A calm and easy feeling, showing up without a sound, like a shirt still warm from sunlight, or lost change suddenly found. Nothing changed the whole world, still something turned out right. Just a calm and easy feeling, keeping everything light. Maybe peace is not an answer, maybe it's a way to stand, with enough air in your lungs and nothing heavy in your hands. Maybe joy is not a headline, maybe it's a slower art, the kind that leaves the window open and settles gently in the heart. So I don't need the perfect weather or every thought to fall in line, just a bench, a breeze, a quiet song, and a little unclaimed time. A calm and easy feeling, that's enough for me today. Not because I gave up dreaming, but because I found another way to let the hours hold me without asking me to shine. Just a calm and easy feeling, and for now that feels like mine. evening folds around me in denim blue and amber thin, I'll remember how this softness made a little more space within. No parade, no revelation, no grand design in sight, just a calm and easy feeling carrying me in tonight.
The curtains moved before I touched them, like the room had learned to breathe. A stripe of gold ran down the hallway and settled softly at my feet. The coffee took a little longer, but I didn't seem to mind. The morning had a kinder texture, like it had sanded down my mind. A brighter morning than usual, not by much but still enough. The air felt clearer in my lungs, the day felt lighter in my blood. Nothing turned the whole world over, nothing shouted from the blue. Just a brighter morning than usual, and I could feel it through and through. The train outside was still familiar, same old rhythm, same old sound. But someone at the corner bakery set fresh flowers on the ground. My keys were where I left them, the sink looked less like proof of war, and even the shirt I almost didn't wear fit a little better than before. I used to wait for mornings that arrive with drums and sighs. Now I trust the ones that meet me with gentler hands and quieter light. A brighter morning than usual, a little warmth in ordinary things. The spoon against the ceramic cup almost sounded like it could sing. No miracle, no sudden answer, no grand new point of view. Just a brighter morning than usual, making small things feel brand new. Oh, maybe hope is not a bonfire, maybe sometimes it's a thread running through the plainest hours, pulling color through the gray instead. Maybe joy can start in inches, in the way the floorboards shine, in the pause before the rushing starts, when the day feels almost kind. So I let the window stay open, let the coolness touch the room, let the light move slow across the wall like a plant beginning bloom. A brighter morning than usual, that was all it had to be. A softer edge around the clock, a little more space in me. And if the rest of the day grows heavy, I'll still have something true, the hush of a brighter morning than the one I'm used to. When the evening asks what changed today, I may not have the words on cue, only that the world came closer in a brighter morning than usual. I woke before the alarm could call me. Light was waiting at the door, not in some dramatic color, just a little warmer than before. The floor was cool, the house was quiet, the kettle gave its usual sigh, but something in the shape of morning sat more gently on my mind. The day felt a little different, like a song played half a key, closer to the heart somehow, without explaining what it means. Nothing big, nothing broken open, no wild change in view, just the day felt a little different and somehow kinder coming through. I took the same road past the market, same red signs, same traffic lights. Still the trees along the sidewalk looked like they had slept just right. A woman dropped a glove and laughed before I bent to hand it back. And even that small second lingered like a soft stitch in the fabric. I used to think good days announced themselves with perfect timing, polished grace. But this one came in plain clothes and left a brightness on my face. The day felt a little different, like the air had learned my name. Like the weight I usually carry had loosened without a claim. A green light when I needed one, a breeze through the avenue. Just the day felt a little different, and maybe that was all I needed to. The sunlight found my table, turned the glass into a little lake. Someone nearby was humming softly, and I let the moment stay awake. No message changed my future, no headline pulled me near, but the hours moved with softer edges and the noise felt less severe. Maybe wonder isn't louder, maybe it arrives this way, through a barely shifted angle in the ordinary of a day. Maybe joy can wear familiar shoes and still step slightly new. Maybe peace is just a feeling that the world is passing kindly through. The day felt a little different, not enough for anyone to see, but enough to make me notice there was extra room in me for the clink of cups, the passing dogs, the afternoon's pale blue. Just the day felt a little different, and I kept falling into it too. When evening folded down the windows and the sky turned denim at the seams, I couldn't name what had been altered, only that it moved through me clean. So if tomorrow asks what happened, I'll probably smile and say nothing much, and that's the beauty. Something small just changed the day. A little different, and that was more than new. It felt like life without performing. Let a little gold come through.
I wore my shoulders like a warning. Thought that's how a man gets through. You keep the jaw set, keep it moving. Never let the daylight hear you. But the morning had quite a lesson in the clink of a cup and plate. How the room stayed standing just fine without me forcing all the weight. A softer way forward still counts as ground I've won. Not every road needs heavy boots, not every fire needs to run. I can move without the damage, I can bend without breaking in two. There's a softer way forward, and I'm finally walking it through. I took the long way past the station, didn't race the changing light. Let a little air inside me where I keep the need to fight. The city pulled its usual current, engines, footsteps, crossing signs. But for once I wasn't proving I deserved to keep in time. I used to trust the louder language, push, endure, outlast, withstand. Now I'm learning slower verbs, release, allow, and understand. A softer way forward can still be strong, like a hand that doesn't tighten but carries what it can all along. Like saying no without a thunderclap, like resting without excuse. There's a softer way forward, and I don't have to be bruised to choose. Strength is not a hard face, maybe it's a steadier nerve, the kind that keeps a heart wide open even when the days have curves. Maybe progress isn't dramatic. Maybe it arrives in smaller ways. A better breath, a calmer answer, a little more room inside the day. So I'm done worshiping the friction, done mistaking strain for truth. Some things grow because you ease them, not because you tear them through. A softer way forward, with less to prove, with enough light to see myself and enough peace to let things move. I don't need to win the morning, I just need to make it through. There's a softer way forward, and for once it feels like something true. When the evening leans against the window and the room goes amber low, I'll thank the part of me that loosened and still found a way to go. No parade, no final answer, no grand new name to wear, just a softer way forward and a little more air.
The rain began before the morning could decide what kind of day to be. Coffee cooled beside the window while the sky misplaced its clarity. The train was late in my sleeve, caught somehow on the handle by the door. A message came I didn't want it. I stood still a little more. Still a beautiful day, even with its missing parts, even with the awkward silence and the weather in my heart. Not because it all feels easy, not because it goes my way, just because there's something gentle still alive inside today. The corner laughed with her umbrella turned inside out. A kid in green rain boots kept jumping like joy had never heard of doubt. The bakery glass was fogged with warmth, hands moved slowly wrapping bread. And for a second all the noise felt softer in my head. I used to think a lovely day had to shine from edge to edge. No wrong turns, no dull colors, no standing on a shaky ledge. But beauty has a quieter language, it doesn't mind a crooked line. Sometimes it lives in how the light falls on a day that isn't mine. Still a beautiful day, though the script came out undone, though the hours wore plain clothes and hid their gold from everyone. There's a kindness in the steam rising from an ordinary cup. There's a beauty in the small things that keep quietly showing up. In the scarf left on the chair, in the pear with bruises near the stem, in the song from someone's open window I didn't know I needed then. Maybe wonder isn't fragile, maybe it can stand the gray. Maybe it was never waiting for a perfect kind of day. Still a beautiful day. Not complete, but the wind still moved the branches and the ground stayed kind beneath my feet. And somewhere between the letdowns and the plans that fell away, something tender kept on breathing. Still a beautiful day. Still a beautiful day. So I'll stop asking every hour to become some grand display. Some days beauty wears a tired face and still decides to stay. When the evening folds the rooftops into denim smoke and rose, I'll remember how the day still shimmered in the places no one knows. Still a beautiful day, even now, especially this, with its loose threads and quiet colors, and the little joys I almost miss. The morning came in wearing gray, a little heavier than I'd like. Coffee on the edge of cooling, shoes still by the door untied. I had a list of quiet worries stacked like dishes in my head. Nothing broken, nothing tragic, just the usual weight instead. Then you smiled and it shifted all at once, like sunlight reaching through a narrow room without asking anything of us. Your smile made it lighter. The air, the owl, the noise, what I couldn't carry gracefully, you softened without trying to. Your smile made it lighter. The train still groaned, the street stayed crowded, the sky didn't suddenly turn blue, but something in my chest unknotted in the small bright curve of you. Not a rescue, not a miracle, just a kindness in plain clothes, like opening one more window in a house that had been closed. You smiled across the kitchen table over nothing grand at all, a half-told thought, a clumsy moment, and the day grew less tall. Your smile made it lighter, like taking coins out of a coat, like loosening the grip of something I didn't know I still was holding close. Your smile made it lighter, not because it fixed the day, but because it gave my heart a gentler way to stay. I used to think relief would thunder, arrive with answers sharp and clear. Now I know it sometimes enters as someone I love appearing near, with that look that says no pressure, no need to turn into stone. Just be here, just breathe beside me, you don't have to lift it all alone. And maybe that's the quiet magic, not the fireworks, not the flame, but the way your face can change the weather without even meaning to explain. Your smile made it lighter, the room, the rush, the doubt, like warm hands around a paper cup on a day that started running out. Your smile made it lighter, and I felt myself come through, a little less tangled in the dark, a little more open because of you. So if tonight the sky folds slowly into denim, ash and gold, I'll remember what stayed with me wasn't anything I could hold, just the mercy of your laughter, the softness at the edge of it, how the hardest parts of living sometimes ease a little bit. Your smile made it lighter, and that was more than enough. No grand speech, no perfect timing, just your quiet kind of love. Your smile made it lighter, and I'll carry that with me like a pocket full of brightness for the days that ask too much of me. barely speaking, just the kettle, just the floor. A pale line slipped across the table like it had been here before. No grand change in the weather, no reason I could name. Still the morning held a softness that asked for nothing in return. Moments of quiet light falling where they please, on the sleeve tossed on the chair, on the dust above the keys. Nothing trying to impress me, nothing asking to be right, just the tender little mercy of moments of quiet light. Of moments of quiet light. A cup still warm beside the window, a page half read, a loosened shoe, a plant leaning toward the brightness like it knew what people lose. Outside the day kept moving, buses sighed and strangers passed, but in here the air was gentler and time was folding back its hands. I used to think the beautiful things had to arrive with sound and scale. Now I trust the ones that find me thin as steam and twice as frail. Moments of quiet light, resting on the ordinary, on the bowl beside the sink, on a thought no longer wary. They don't fix the whole world, they don't turn the dark to white. Still they leave a softer outline, these moments of quiet light. These moments of quiet light. Maybe grace is not a sermon, maybe peace is not a plan. Maybe it lives in how the window lays gold across an open hand. Maybe hope comes in reflections, on a spoon, on glass, on rain. Not enough to stop all sorrow, just enough to ease its weight. So I let the silence keep me, didn't rush to fill the space. Let the small bright things surround me like kindness with no need for praise. Moments of quiet light, that's what stayed with me today. Not the noise, not the errands, not the words I couldn't say. Just the hush between the heartbeats, just the calm in plain sight. Just the world being unexpectedly kind. In moments of quiet light. In moments of quiet light. And when evening dims the edges and the window turns to blue, I will carry these small glimmers like thread I can walk through. Not a blaze, not a miracle, just enough to keep me near to the simple breathing beauty that was quietly waiting here. I left the house with half a thought, still fastening the shape of day. The sidewalk wore its usual cracks, but something softer led the way. A dog barked once behind a gate, a bicycle flashed in morning sun. Someone shook a rug from a balcony, and the air came loose and warm. Walking through small joys like they've been here all along. In the steam above a paper cup, and a stranger softly humming a song. Nothing asking to be captured, nothing dressed to make a noise. Just me moving, heart a little wider, walking through small joys. Hey, yeah, yeah. The corner store had oranges stacked like tiny lanterns in a row. The woman at the register smiled like she had nowhere else to go. A child in rain boots missed a puddle, then laughed as if he'd meant to. And that sound followed me for blocks, light as thread and just as true. I used to think the good part of life would wave me down from far away, but maybe it was always waiting in the plain clothes of the day. Walking through small joys, past windows, leaves and passing cars. A sparrow hopping near my shoe like it had memorized these yards. No grand shift in the weather, no dazzling turn of voice, just the quiet skill of noticing. Whoa. The smell of bread from down the street made the whole block feel alive. My phone stayed still inside my pocket. For once I let the world be wide, and found a softer kind of richness in not needing more than what I had beside me. Maybe joy is not a destination. Maybe it's a way to see a glint on someone's window frame, a little more room inside of me. Maybe peace is not dramatic. Maybe it arrives this way, one kind second after another, stitching brightness through the gray. Walking through small joys till the afternoon turns slow. Light on glass and crosswalk paint in the easy places people go. Nothing solved, nothing promised. Still I feel a little buoyed by the ordinary gold I'm finding, walking through small joys. And when the evening folds the streets into denim blue and amber thin, I'll carry home these quiet treasures like warm coins in my skin. Not enough to change the whole world, maybe not, but that's not the point. Some days it's enough to keep on going, walking through small joys.
I spent a while looking outward for some proof that life was kind. A better view, a bigger answer, something bright enough to quiet my mind. But the morning kept it simple. Light across the kitchen floor, the chair, the keys, the half-read paperback, all the things I'd seen before. The good already around me didn't need to shout my name. It was waiting in the ordinary, patient as the window frame, in the bread left on the counter, in the shirt hung out to dry. The good already around me was there the whole time. A neighbor waved with both hands full. Someone laughed down in the street. A dog asleep beside the flower stand, dreaming with the twitching feet. The coffee wasn't anything special, still it warmed both of my hands. And for a minute I stopped treating every day like shifting sand. I used to think the best things would arrive with perfect timing, wrapped in certainty and fireworks, something too clear to go unseen. Now I trust a quieter language, the kind that doesn't need applause. A lamp left on a room gone peaceful, mercy without a cause. The good already around me lived in details I'd ignored, in the softness of a clean blue towel, in the click of the closing door, in the calm between two errands, in the breeze through the hallway blinds. The good already around me was changing how I saw mine. Maybe wonder isn't farther, maybe I don't have to chase. Maybe joy can keep its work clothes on and still fill up a place. Maybe peace is just attention turned a little more awake to the color of an orange peel, or the sound the floorboards make. So I let the day stay plain, didn't push it to perform, and somehow in that loosened hour everything felt more warm. The good already around me wasn't rare or hard to hold. It was tucked inside the daily fabric, little threads of quiet gold. Nothing huge, nothing cinematic, still enough to shift the view. The good already around me made the whole day feel more true. When the evening folds the rooftops into amber, smoke and blue, I'll remember what kept me steady wasn't something new, just the life I'm always standing in, seen with kinder eyes this time. The good already around me turning slowly into mine.
I used to think it only only counted if I leapt across the room, if the day came back applauding, if I broke the gray in two. But this morning wore no spotlight, just a pale and steady blue. And I tied my shoes in silence like small courage sometimes do. Little steps still forward, even if they barely show, like a plant beside the windowsill, turning where the light goes. Not a rush, not a rescue, not a story loud enough to sell, just little steps still forward, and that is going well. I answered one hard message, then let my shoulders drop, folded one clean shirt with care and called that movement not a stop. The street outside kept hurrying, cars and voices crossing lights, but I was learning not to measure my whole worth by speed or size. I used to worship progress when it came dressed up and fast. Now I trust the slower versions built in moments that can last. Little steps still forward, that's the rhythm I can keep. A softer kind of bravery that doesn't wake the whole street. A breath before I speak, know that I can finally say just little steps still forward, making room inside the day. Less like thunder, more like thread through worn-out seams, quietly holding things together while becoming something clean. Maybe change is not a grand reveal, maybe it arrives this way. A little less fear in my chest, a little more of me each day. So I won't insult the inches or call them small as if they're weak. Some roads are made of tiny choices and the trust it takes to keep. Little steps still forward, even when the sky stays gray, even when I miss the bigger version I thought I had to make. I'm not behind, I'm still becoming. That truth feels kind and warm, just little steps still forward, carrying me through the storm. And when the evening leans in softly with its denim rose and gold, I'll count the quiet things I managed, not just the things I couldn't hold. A gentler pace, a steadier heart, a path I can call mine. Little steps still forward, one honest step at a time. Curtain moved like it remembered how to dance without a sound. Morning laid a thinner gold across the corners of the room I found. No ringing in the distance, no urgent weather in the sky, just the kettle warming slowly in a blue that took its time. Soft light, slow day, nothing asking me to race, just a little hush on the table and more room inside the space. No grand plans, no bright agenda, just the hours falling plain. Soft light, slow day, and I let it stay that way. I took the long way to the window, watched a leaf turn in the breeze. Someone watered plants downstairs, a radio drifted through the trees. The cup sat warm between my fingers, like it knew I'd been wound tight, and every ordinary object held a softer kind of light. I used to think the good days had to sparkle, leap and shine. Now I trust the quieter ones that loosen what I carry in my mind. Soft light, slow day, moving easy through the seams of the hallway, of the kitchen, of the places in between. No need to make it memorable, no need to make it grand, just a little piece arriving and settling in my hands. Maybe rest is not an ending, maybe it's a wiser pace. Maybe joy can wear plain colors and still brighten up a place. Maybe life is kindest when it doesn't need display, just a shirt warm from the sunlight let the morning stretch a little, didn't tug it into shape. Let the clock keep speaking softly, like a wave against a lake. Soft light, slow day, that was all I needed now. A gentler edge around the hours and less pressure in the how. If nothing more remarkable happens, I will still call this grace. Soft light, slow day, with a calm I didn't chase. Folds the rooftops into denim, peach and gray, I'll remember how the best part was how nothing rushed away. No fireworks, no revelation, just a heart that finally stayed in the soft light, in the slow day.
The room is settling into evening, chairs and shadows side by side, a cup gone cool beside the lamp, and all the noise is thinned outside. No grand ending to the story, no sudden answer in the air, just the window holding twilight like it knows how to be there. A quiet kind of happiness moves easy through the room. Not a fire, not a spotlight, just enough to soften gloom. In the folded dish towel drying in the low hum of the street, a quiet kind of happiness, making the whole day feel complete. I used to think that peace would find me only after something big, after every loose and tightened, after I proved the way I live. But tonight it came in smaller ways. The click of keys set in the bowl, the coat hung back behind the doorway, the body feeling like a soul. A message with no urgent edges, warm light leaning on the wall, the kind of silence that feels friendly, not empty, not sharp at all. A quiet kind of happiness resting where the daylight ends, in the sweater on the chair, back in the hour that doesn't bend. Nothing here I need to capture, nothing here I need to chase, just a quiet kind of happiness and a little more breathing space. Oh, maybe the truest good things never ask to be admired. Maybe peace is just the feeling of not being so tired. Maybe joy can keep its work closed, plain and soft and unannounced. Maybe fullness doesn't echo, maybe it just gathers round. So I let the evening have me, didn't ask it to explain. Let the blue deepen at the windows like slow water after rain. A quiet kind of happiness, that's enough for me tonight. Not because the world turned perfect, but because it turned out light. And whatever waits tomorrow can wait outside a while. I am here inside the stillness with a slow and easy smile. When the lamp becomes the only sun and the rooftops fade from view, I'll remember how the day came home in ordinary shades of blue. Oh, no, 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 no. No applause, no final chorus, just the softness staying late. A quiet kind of happiness and the grace of ending this way. No, no,